So like I said, there's a link in the chat. That's for Propstream. That's what we're going to be going over here today. We're going to do a quick little tutorial as I run through the platform. I'll let you know what I'm doing and how I use it. Um, if you're tuning in, give me a thumbs up that the audio is good. Yeah, these are LA County. The filters are set at notice of list pendants within the last 6 months, high equity, multifamily, 2 to 4 units, 5 units, not on the market, so they're not currently listed, corporate owned, so that either could mean it's under an LLC or a bigger uh, corporate owner. There's a tax lien of $3,000 or more. And these filters I can stack or remove, and that's what's great about Propstream. You can literally, there's some predetermined filters in here, right? However, I'm a little outside the box and I try to get as creative as possible to get some data that somebody else might not be looking at how I look at it. And everybody's going to look at things differently depending on what your niche is. Um, there's other platforms out there similar like CoStar and other ones. However, for what we're doing, it's ideal. And I'm talking about it because I do have an affiliate account with them. And so if you're tuning in and I bring any value at all as I'm going through the steps today of how I use it, great. I don't expect much, but check out the trial and let me know how it goes. And if you want me to schedule a call with you and help you get yours set up and let you know how I use it, as you see here, all these predetermined searches, I can just toggle to it any time. So what I'm going to do as an example before we get too far is I'll just save this search. What I usually like to do is I like to copy my filters first. It's a little hack that you'll learn. Save the search, however you want to save it, because you're the one that has to go back and remember what you saved the search as. And if you chose to, like if it's your main go-to search and you want to open your screen up to it every day when you log in, you can just click that button there to where include it on the home screen when you log in or not. Uh, and then if you want to get notified, I want to get notified weekly. So now it's saved, and if you see here under my saved searches, the top one. And now if you want, for an example purpose, I have some other ones saved here. We can just take a look at OC pre-foreclosure, and I set this one a few weeks ago. So it's similar. There's 252 properties that meet that criteria, and you know what? And this is OC out in New York. What the criteria here would be is pre-foreclosure, single family, condo, multi 2 to 4, multi 2 to 5. The recording date of April of 2000 or later, and they've owned the property 3 years or more. So that's just an example. And if, as you see, as I show you here, you can just click on all searches and go back to the other one. That's what we just did. There's no real wrong way to do it. And like most platforms, you could just really jump in and maneuver and figure out how you do what you want to do. There's many different ways to use the platform. I'm just showing you what I'm currently doing. So right now we have 20 properties, and that's I'm really just trying to pick off something and get into a conversation. I was looking at this property here. It's a threeplex, triplex, whatever you want to call it. It's 3 units. It's in Long Beach. Here's the thing. There's a lien on it, over 8 grand. Doesn't mean a lot. They're not paying it. So that's what it's telling me is that they don't care that much about this property. There may be something going on. That's another lien of 15,000. Another lien. Okay, so they're about $20,000 in liens, right? But what's great about Propstream is when I pull up one property, it will show me under linked properties if they own multiple properties attached to that entity. So as it shows you here, there's 5 total properties owned. And it will show me the actual properties, and it will give me ownership information if it's other entities or under other names. But as you see here, we have a name at the bottom, and my hunch as doing this long enough is knowing that that's our owner. And I've already done some pre looking at it earlier, and I'm going to tell you that is our owner, and it's a his property. I'm guessing he lives in. It's in Corona Del Mar. I would guess it's probably a $10 million property. And then I did a little bit more research, and that's what's great about Propstream. And you do want to be careful about doing too much research before you start actually engaging in conversation because you will get stuck doing that. However, I'll let you know, this gentleman owns a couple of Toyota dealerships down there in Southern California. They did have it listed uh, only for 63 days. So it's good for me to know this information. So 48 days, it was listed for 625. So I have that information going in, right? So my goal here, just get him on the phone, see if he'd still consider an offer, and then go from there, right? And what's great is it was listed, so I could reach out to the realtor. Hey, what happened? Do you think your seller still wants to sell? If I'm not able to engage, that's just another way of going about it, right? Let's see. And being that let's see here, have no issues at all with reaching out to realtors and other players in the game. That's really how we connect the dots with this, right? So coming in, it's you just got to know who you need to speak to and how to go about it. So from there, I use what's called a true people search, and I have a skip tracer. Like if I have a list of a couple hundred addresses, I'll send it over to my skip tracer to handle. But if it's just like one or two addresses and I want to pull a quick number, uh, what I can do is I can go over to True People Search, or there's a handful of them out there. Pick your poison, whatever you guys want to use. The point is, you can go ahead and take the address of that main property that's the primary residence for your seller, do a do, and now you have the phone number and reach out. I've already called a couple of times. I wasn't able to reach him, but let's go ahead and do the next one live here. So this one's over in Marina Del Rey. It's a 3 unit. Okay, so if you guys are able to see what I see, let me just double check here with the screens and make sure we're still on point. Thumbs up, thumbs up. All right. Okay, so let's look at this one. Now what we're gonna do, Mike, I'm not gonna do a full, I don't need to analyze everything. My first look is the lien, okay? 3,700, but it's from 2013, right? So they're not gonna lose the property over it. And then if you look here, it's under Zero Scapes LLC. Okay. Now, having a property under an LLC, maybe back 20 years ago, that was like interesting, but it's pretty common today to have properties held under a trust, LLCs, corporations. Sometimes you'll have it still in the owner's name, but when you're talking about more high-end luxury real estate and more sophisticated real estate, people know what they're doing, you rarely see the property in the owner's name if they have multiple properties, even if it's just one or two properties. In fact, a lot of investors have each property in an LLC. It doesn't mean anything. It's just how they're doing their taxes. Okay. Um, Zero Scapes LLC. And so the point is, it's fairly easy with today's technology to, like, just like I showed you with True People Search, take that LLC information and do a little bit of reverse engineering and potentially find the name of the owner, which will give you a little bit more information to potentially find that phone number. Because that's all your goal here is. My goal is to get on a conversation with that owner, see if they consider with their current situation an offer, because the property has a substantial amount of tax lien on it, and the property's vacant. To me, and to most investors and people in the marketplace, that's going to be somebody who would consider an offer. Doesn't mean they're going to say they're going to sell it, but if they're in business and they have multiple investment properties and this one maybe is tanking, they would obviously, not obviously, but most likely consider an offer. And that's what my call is. And as long as it's approached properly with a professional manner and with a little bit of information, it will usually be a conversation that's entertained. And then from there, it's just up to me to determine how I want to control the flow of that from there. So let's take a quick look here. I found an owner. His name is Mr. Butts, J-O. And this looks like a maintenance company that might have this property. That's pretty common too these days. You'll see maintenance guys, having properties that they own and manage as well. It's pretty neat. I used to live in a property in Sacramento, a similar situation. Okay, so it's out of Venice. Let's take a quick look here if we can find a phone number. What I'm going to do is take a look at the linked properties. Looks like they have 3 other properties linked to it. As you see here, there's this triplex. There's a single family in LA, and then there's another threeplex in. This is the one in Marina Del Rey. So the one in LA. Let's take a quick look at that one. And you're able to toggle over to the linked properties. My point is what I'm demonstrating here is Propstream is an all-in-one data source to where you can really gather all the information. It's not just for investors. If you're a realtor and if you're a listing agent or if you just, if you're also a prospector, it's a tool that I would say you would want to have in your belt, and Propstream's only $100 a month or so or less, and even if it was more, it's completely worth it. And I'm not just saying it because this is my affiliate pitch video, but I use it every day. All right, so the property in, you know why it's also good to have information about the other properties is because you can see if they're listing it or if there's any activity, because it kind of give you an idea of what they will potentially be doing with this one. Is there a lot of assumption in what we do? Yes. Is it okay to follow your assumption as long as it's educated? At times, right? Just don't spend too much time spinning wheels, right? All right, let's take a look here and see if we can find Mr. Butts' phone number. It may even be a fictitious name, who knows, but we'll figure it out here in a little bit when we find the phone number. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to take this single family home that's attached to the title because my assumption is that that's probably their primary. If you guys are tuning in, if you have any questions about the platform, please drop it in the chat. When I see your questions pop up, I will answer them. And if you just want to tune in, that's fine too. We're about to make a call here just in a moment, just giving you guys an idea of how I use Propstream as a data source to be able to pull information to give you the Glengarry, Glenn Ross leads. If you guys know anything about that, you know. If you don't know, you probably don't know, and you won't know. One thing I know is my Wi-Fi is very slow today. 3625 Maplewood. Let's try this. All right, we got a couple of names here. Let's see if we can get an address, a phone number. And all these tabs on top are useful. I was just showing you the ones that I use, but if you want, you can even go to look at the transaction history, right? And you can see, okay, looks like they grabbed this property. Well, you can look back until at least 2011. You see that LLC's name there, right? When they did the quick claim deed. And then you can look back into 2008 where it shows us probably when they acquired it. Looks like they only got it for 1.5. So this is an asset that they've had on deck for a while. Let's try to reverse look this one up. Might be their office. Ideally, once you see some traction in the process and the system that you create, you'd like to be able to create a standard operating procedure so you can have a virtual assistant or an internal assistant to be able to do the simple steps for you every day. So that way you can walk into a result rather than having to spend the hour, 2 hours, 3 hours that you may spend doing this. And that's something you can do. Uh, with Propstream, you can obviously create a standard operating procedure and have this duplicated over and over so you can be spending time doing something else. All right, let's try the skip trace one more time. What we're doing is we're looking for the seller's information before you reach out to the listing agent, the previous listing agent. Just going to do a quick skip trace reverse on the address and then match it with the name that I have for the LLC, cross-reference that, and then make a quick phone call and see if they consider selling. Looks like there's on one of their properties, there's a few names that I didn't see before under a trust. What's up, guys? We're doing a live Propstream tutorial trial right now on Facebook. So if you're logged in, go ahead and pop over to Facebook and check out the live stream on J Marketing, on Power Prospecting, and on to the next doors. It's been a couple of weeks since I've done a live training, and this is a little bit different than some of the ones in the past. So if you guys have questions, please drop them in the chat. All right, let's pull a different one up. I'm not able to skip his number. I could use the Propstream skip trace, but for this tutorial, I'm just doing an address at a time. And the tutorial itself isn't really about doing the skip tracing, just kind of showing you how I maneuver through Propstream to just pull up some sniper deals. We'll call them sniper deals. The filters on this search I pulled up: high equity, multifamily 2 to 4, 5+ units, corporate owned, tax lien 3,000 or more. Let's flip it up to single family residence just to see what it is. And that's how it's pretty unique little tool that you can do here. You can just flip it up. You just take out the filter that you had for the property type previously, and you go to property characteristics, then you go to the drop down for property types, and you can decide property type, and you can even get more specific if you wanted to look into it. And agricultural, you can look into commercial, you can get very specific with the property types, and that's what's great about Propstream. It's very in-depth filtered data. There may be some things you may not be able to access, but another platform will probably do that for you. So let's go back over here and see our results. 121. Yeah, we know that's a big area, but this is, again, just for demonstration purposes. You can scroll all the way in. Let's just look at this one here in near Pasadena, number 34. You can just pop it up. Let's look at the details. Okay, so there's some construction. Maybe it's mid-construction, or this is previous older. This is August of 2022. So they might have had it listed and then it came to market. Okay, so they had it listed, but that was a couple of years ago for almost 900,000. So I mean, they had interest in selling. Let's see if they even sold it. Okay, so the last transaction was in 2020. So we have it under, and how many properties are linked? 7 properties linked. It shows us acquisition time, so I wonder if they're still buying. No, they haven't bought anything in almost 3 years. Single family, they got one building. They probably live there. Because we know it was listed back in 2019, if we can't find their information, we can always reach out to the one of the agents involved. Mr. Ramiro Hernandez, because he'll have all the info. In fact, let's do that one this way this time. That way this time. Arroyo Seco. That's the wrong guy, I believe. That's probably him. All right, I found the agent's number. I'm going to call him and I'll put it on speaker if I get him on the phone. So, listing agent does know the owners. The listing agent is going to reach out to see what they're doing with it, and we're going to get a call back. So, look, guys, all I'm showing you is with a few simple steps and knowing what to do with the platform, with the tool in your belt, right? Which I'm happy to help you do, and making a call and knowing where to go with that call. So here's how the call went. I was calling about a transaction that you were part of back in 2019. Do you have a moment? He said, who are you? So he wanted to make sure he knew who he was talking to. So I just told him exactly who I am. And I mentioned the property address, and he rang a bell. And I said, well, I was just curious if you knew what the property owners were doing with the property since there's a lien on it. And I just, he said, oh, there's a lien on it. Okay. Well, they're living in it, I thought. But so he said he was going to get a hold of the owners, see if they would be open to entertaining or discussing the situation and going from there. Great. If it turns out to be absolutely nothing, even if he never calls me back, that's fine. Okay. The concept is proven. We can do it over and over and over. Okay. So the plan would be with him is I'm going to email him and text him my information so he knows who I am. If I don't hear from him within an hour, I'll follow up just to see what the deal is. Now, here's the thing. Even if they don't want to sell this property because of the relationship I'm establishing, I'm going to see if there's anything else that he has that's available that we can work with. And then if he doesn't right now, having an agent or several that are looking for properties like this, because here's the thing, they get paid when we close deals. They get paid when we close deals. We close deals, they get paid. So he's going to keep presenting deals if we make something happen on this one, when we make something happen on this one. So, guys, Propstream is a tool that can be used for many different things, and I'm just showing one example of something that can be done like that. I never looked up that address before, never looked up that name before, never spoke to that realtor before. That's a, let's see what that is. That's a $1,600,000 property. That's a almost a $2 million property, right? That because of the liens and because of the construction that still needs to be done, we may end up walking into a deal because of a couple calls that were made. All right. So if you guys need help with your prospecting, let me know. Okay. This stream right here is strictly to be able to get you guys to check out Propstream. Propstream is a tool that will give you access to data, and there's a lot more you can do with it. You can do different types of marketing. You can send out mailers. You can do skip tracing. Pretty much as an investor or even a realtor, it's something that you want to have in your bill. And if you're in business and if you're, if you're doing transactions and if you're closing deals, it's something that just pays for itself after you do one transaction. And being that we're all in business, if you're doing your taxes, you're writing it off anyways. So if you don't have PropStream, you need something like it. And if you're thinking about PropStream, use my link. Have a great day, guys.